Before I dive into the video, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Cozy Grove Camp Spirit. It's the second Cozy Grove game developed by award-winning game studio Spry Fox, following the same motto as Lao Tzu's quote, "Kindness and giving creates love." Readily available on iOS and Android through the Netflix Games platform, it's a beautiful and relaxing game wherein you explore a mysterious island you crash land on that is filled with adorable residents that are in need of help, just like your character. As a spirit scout, the game allows you to complete daily tasks at your own pace, travelling different areas, digging up rewards, catching fish, or befriending ghostly spirit bears who express different personalities to listen to and love. The bears are wholesome characters that push the universal themes of kindness, integral to the game's ethos and motto being all those who are lost deserve kindness. My personal favourite bear being Kylie, though don't mention that to the others. Cozy Grove Camp Spirit is also synced to real world time, so you can log in every day with new quest content to fulfill and enjoy. There's a convenience in having the game readily available on mobile, just a few quick and easy clicks before you can also enjoy an evening winding down, helping bring colour and joy to more areas of the island. Also helps that the art style looks like a coloured in sketchbook brought to life, the hand-drawn style a charming aesthetic. It's exclusively available for all Netflix members on the Netflix Games platform, of which you can join for $6.99 a month, and comes with no ads, in-app purchases or extra fees, so you can benefit from Netflix on top of streaming the newest K-drama or anime. You can play Cozy Grove Camp Spirit in nearly 100 other games now on the Netflix app, following the link in the description to download the game. A thank you to Cozy Grove Camp Spirit for sponsoring the video. As the digital world expands, the space between fans and celebrities draws closer, and with that, Britney Spears' words always come to mind.
There's only two types of people in the world. The ones that entertain, and the ones that observe.
For decades, the relationships between Hollywood stars and their fans has always been close-knit. As Britney Spears reiterated, it's a dynamic between an entertainer and the entertained.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Fans of massive proportions have adored popular figures, whether musicians, actors, influencers, politicians, or royalty. The love expressed is carried in different forms, those with a natural admiration for a star they like, to a far, far greater and dangerous obsession. As a one-sided relationship between a star and fan, when taken too far, is like a symbiotic parasite in nature. A fan in love and obsessed over a celebrity who feels nothing back, and doesn't even know who they are. This experience is called a parasocial relationship.
Look, I just think it's worth saying, and I've never talked about this really on YouTube, but parasocial relationships can be a bit dangerous, which is why it's worth at least being cognizant that they exist in the first place.
Really reminded me like anyone could watch you. Anyone could watch you and build some sort of like parasocial mindset.
A certain 90s anime film by Satoshi Kon perfectly demonstrated the complications of being a woman with a large fan following.
Huh?
Tried to fit themselves into a shopping cart at a local grocery store. And the mother was unable to pry herself out.
I always like looking into Mima's room. I'm linked with you. I've put up a link to Mima's room. What the heck?
Perfect Blue is a psychological thriller to some, whilst others a horror film too close to home, especially for female victims of stalking, harassment or threats perpetrated by men. It delves into the psyche of fame, the process of it slowly being destroyed, and the quote-unquote price that comes with it. Mima is an ex-idol, previously adored by fans for her singing and dancing abilities, who turned to acting as a change-up for her future career. The prevalence of Mima's stalker issues reflects the troubles of obsessive fan culture, in particular male fans seeking to endanger famous women under the guise that they're in love, like many cases in real life.
Up until the charge, I felt like Drew had not communicated to me that she was afraid and she wanted me to stay away from her.
Where their chilling stalker behaviour,
oh my god, that's another intruder who came to my house on a bike.
Moving universities to follow and constantly harass.
You understand why I can't, carry on these conversations with people I don't know. You understand that it's dangerous and it's just not done, it's not fair, and it's rude. Oh, all right? Well, I'm not doing this.
Breaking into homes.
2 officers who responded to the scene testified that when they entered the Bel Air home on June 8, 2014, they saw Corbett walking down a staircase.
He said, "I'm sorry. I love you, Sandy."
Or even stabbing.
Gunter Pasha, an obsessive fan of Steffi Graf, stabbed Selesh with a knife during a changeover at the Citizen Cup in Hamburg.
Mima's situation in Perfect Blue, while specifically related to fame, is unfortunately a reflection of many women's lives, where the control of their own lives is handed upon another, pulling the rug from under an idol's feet, and pretending to know how to pick up the pieces left behind.
この作品に通して、訴えたいことって訴えたいことですかね。なんか訴えようっていう気はないんですけど、なんだろうな、さっきもちょっと話が出てたけど、そういう現実感の喪失っていうか。
Perfect Blue shows the slippery slope in virtual intimacy, more appropriate in today's age where the public image versus the real self of a celebrity is misconstrued within the daily updates of their lives, updated on social media to their millions of followers. Facebook Lives.
What would you do if when you're okay, so he said yes would go? I don't know what you mean there, babes.
Instagram questions, or even likes and comments from stars on social platforms shows the change technology has made in allowing fans to feel perceived by their favourite star. More unhealthy attachments have grown in effect, an adverse result in how people see their own worth, dependent on a celebrity behind a screen who purposefully chooses what they allow to be shown to the public and what they hide for privacy. And by all means, many celebrities use this affection for their own profits, applying those perceived bonds they strengthen through virtual interactions into ticket numbers, to vinyl sales, or repackaging a silly amount of album remixes or versions into additional purchases, knowing fans who are obsessed will throw money at them willingly. The issues of parasocialism grow tenfold within the Japanese and Korean pop industries.
I'm just so proud of you.
I'm proud of you too.
Where idols are specifically marketed to appeal to fans' desires. Fanbases are appealed to by the decisions and rules put in place for these idols, how they look, what they eat, or the prevention of dating. Perfect Blue is a commentary on J-pop idols specifically, but I'm very much depicting it from a Western point of view, which I believe is still relevant. There are some great videos that talk about it from a J-pop analytical view, as that's a separate wormhole. Parasocial relationships work negatively both ways, even for the obsessed fans. Their actions of invading privacy, stalking, attacking or worse are entirely unforgivable, but some don't even realise what an irreversible state they've gotten to. Sasaengs, for example, drop out of school, go into debt, or leave their partners in their obsession with K-pop idols. It's incredibly self-destructive behaviour, even before getting to the troubles of how deeply it affects and scares the victims, and creates self-doubt within stars as to how much of themselves they should reveal, and just how much of their public figure persona is their true self. As is proposed in Perfect Blue, idols and female celebrities have a greater pressure to be nice, socialised into being prim, proper and feminine enough to open the gates of vulnerability for men to obsess over and exploit. That when women stick up for themselves, don't play into the misogyny Hollywood feeds into, are considered rude and unprofessional.
And I said, "You get off my set." This is the first time I've ever spoken. I remember being so scared. Yes. And I looked at this person and I said, "You can F off. I'm going to work towards a tennis ball. I never want to see you again."
These themes are echoed in Perfect Blue. Obsessed fans aren't in love with Mima, but the idea of her. She's a mere possession in their thoughts, not a real living human being. So when that perceived image shatters, when the standard men have proposed on women changes, leads to hatred and vitriolic remarks. The illusion of their idolised view sees these women as tarnished when they pursue adult content, much like Mima moving to nude photography and mature-rated movies. It's misogynistic irony, really, that when women happily decide to do not safe for work content themselves, they're shamed and deemed impure. But when other women refuse to divulge in perverted content when demanded, they're unprofessional.
Producer said to me, "Take your clothes off." And I said no. And I left. And they told me they were gonna burn all my music.
With the development of technology, the other side of parasocialism has also risen. Parasocialism is mostly regarded within the fields of misguided attraction and love, but it works the same in reverse. Many of those obsessed with celebrities actually hate them. YouTube in particular is rife with stalkerish behaviour, trivialising stars' appearances or behaviours, enough so that it's brought to the attention of some stars.
She's telling the truth.
There we go.
This is the best day of my life.
Okay.
Take that, you YouTube people.
Or becomes so obsessive in nature that the digital stalking emotionally breaks down actors, affecting their careers and livelihoods.
How long will you play Captain Marvel for?
I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again?
Time and again, there's a lack of care in affording privacy to celebrities, even more so when mental health issues are involved, where once again the purity of a star is tarnished when they're sent over the edge and their public figure persona crumbles to show the real-life hurt they're experiencing, of which they're deemed crazy or unstable by said obsessed fans who thought they knew the real them.
You know, a private life, people go, well, it's not private because we figured it out. It's like, that's because you are invading my privacy.
This infatuation and fanaticism bleeds into stars' mental health. The lack of boundaries and unconsented touching breaks down their walls of privacy over time, and Chapel Roan, who's openly talked about her bipolar 2 disorder, has suffered privacy intruding issues after her fast arrival to fame.
It's weird how people think that you know a person just because you see them online or you listen to the art they make. That's f***ing weird.
Which was met with complaints calling her entitled, claiming she isn't made for fame, or that parasocialism and lack of privacy comes with the job. But she deserves boundaries just like any woman does. Being famous isn't an invitation for any celebrity's space to be invaded without consent. And while my video has been centered on women, I do want to clarify that parasocial relationships aren't limited to such. Any person with a significant following can fall victim to obsessed fans who take things too far. Whether it's bombarding an airport waiting for their favourite idol, invading their privacy, to feeling entitled enough to demand an actor to say something.
Say something.
Something.
Come on.
Come on.
Certain fans struggle in distinguishing the reality of their relationship with a celebrity, which is non-existent, or at the very least one-sided. Adding misogyny onto this pot of disturbing misery feels important to talk about though. There are power dynamics at play in viewing men's possessive, perversive nature and want of control over women's bodies. And this is no less the case if the woman is a recognised figure, not unlike Mima in Perfect Blue, to horrifying ramifications. This power play also defends men's misdeeds when brought to light. Obsessive fans of male stars forgiving the worst of behaviours and actions only reinforces why some are absolved of any true punishment. It's because their own imaginative idea of the celebrity outweighs the thought of them doing anything wrong. It is only a dip into the darker aspect of Hollywood defending all types of men.
I really do not like Hollywood. It is not for me. The business really scares me. I understand that I'm a part of that business and I enjoy my kind of interactions with it. But that said, I am always looking for ways to kind of remove myself from it.
Even Hosier called out the absurdity of fans putting him on a pedestal for being a good guy because he's not horrible to women and is an advocate for basic human rights, aka doing the bare minimum, when really no fan truly knows him.
What do you want to say to the women who include you in the hashtag men written by women?
How do I feel
the weight of great potential disappointment. Best of luck. I don't know.
Perfect Blue released only a few years after the internet was made available to the public, where its rapidly growing popularity saw the start of a new digital age. It was, however, made before the foundation of social media's presence seized the world, where generations would come to grow up within an online-obsessed environment. Stan culture and parasocialism existed prior to social media, hence Perfect Blue's narrative existence. But Satoshi Kon's ability to tell a story that reflects the future horrors of digital voyeurism is impressively bleak. Within a world of ongoing wars, climate crisis, and other attributes making the world feel harder to live in, the draw of escapism, using parasocialism as a form of distraction, becomes greater. People look to celebrities, to idols with big followings, or those luxurious lifestyles as something to live through, despite not knowing the realities of their lives. It'd be hypocritical of me to say I don't like certain celebrities, favour those who stand for important causes or whose work I admire. But I recognise the distinction between admiring the good they've highlighted as a public figure compared to worshipping them as a person who I insist could do no wrong, and believing them to be a friend. Detaching yourself from putting celebrities on a pedestal is a far healthier approach, especially towards a stranger. Perfect Blue foreshadowed the 21st century's downfall regarding the disillusioned barrier between a public figure and their original self. Social media is not only a want but a need in a time so reliant on digital connection. Only time will tell if Mima's story, a narrative showcasing the confused perception of reality versus fantasy, will continue to ring true as technology progresses, and AI threatens to confuse those already vulnerable to parasocial inclinations. Hey guys, thanks for watching to the end of the video. As always, I had a lot of fun working on this video. Despite it being a slightly darker topic, it felt a bit more experimental than what I've done previously. It felt a bit more like the Keith Haring video, more documentary-esque, and I had a lot of fun working on it. So if you guys want more videos like this, please do let me know in the comments. But I want to give a massive thank you to everyone who watched to the end, and obviously to all of my patrons for supporting me on Patreon, believe it or not, and for my sponsor for today's video. That helps out the channel a lot, so I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Don't really know what else to say other than just be mindful of not getting yourself into a parasocial relationship, because it's very dangerous, in case the video didn't showcase that. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video.